Blackburn Rovers pick up a humongous point away at Brentford, but does that point actually make us playoff contenders? We'll take a little look at it next. That's right, folks, back once again with another match review, this time picking apart Blackburn Rovers' latest away day travels down at London once again, taking on Brentford, and we'll get to that in just 1 second. If you're new to the channel, smash your subscribe and keep your bang up to date with all things Blackburn Rovers related, Championship related, World Football related. We're going to all hear Underwarowski. Not feeling the best today, not feeling the best. It's been a long old day. And actually got to stay up a little bit late tonight for the old boxing, that's right. But not as late as you guys over in the UK. Now, before we jump into it, bit of a Patreon update, that's right, Patreon update. Yes. Just a couple of days ago, we did have our latest, we had a bit of news. It was Tom Beresford up in his pledge, so big thank you to Tom Beresford for doing that. But we have another one, that's right, Russell Frost has joined the gang. He is now a Patreon, and that's someone that we'll keep an eye on over the next 6 months, 6 to 8 months, something like that, as he's going to be starting his own League 1, League 2 channel. We'll talk more about that in the future, so we're going to try and big him up a little bit, but much respect to Russell Frost for joining the latest gang of Patrons. Let's talk about them. Aztec, Marky B. Mark, Constable 1976, LG and Cal, Mitchell Shoney, and of course the legends. That is Tom Beresford, Tom Clark, and John Spurn. And we now add Russell Frost to the gang. If you want to join those illustrious members, get in the comment section down below, and we'll talk all about it. There was a link there, patreon.com/Blackburn Rovers or Rovers, whatever. The link's down there. So let's check it out. Let's talk about the game now, shall we? 2-2 at the end. In a game that Rovers, I think they look pretty decent at in the end. I have no idea what they've done on this formation. It's not the Rovers setup. That's who scored. Got it completely wrong. It was more of a 4-2-3-1 as always. But 2-2 in the end. But people were saying, where were we going to be without Bradley Decarino pulling the strings and all that kind of good stuff? Adam Armstrong, once again, delivering the goods with a brace. I actually posted a tweet out there early doors. I said, Adam Armstrong, please take it easy on David Raya. Just score the 2 goals today. And he duly obliged with that. But he should have, probably could have had a hat-trick as well. We did have a one-on-one situation to make it 3. But let's talk about those 2 goals. The first on the 11 minutes. I think it was a Walton long-ass ball, ended up on a plate for Adam Armstrong, really, and it was one-on-one with his old mucker, David Raya, and he did a little Peter Dinklage over the top of him into the back of the net. Made him look like a right clown, didn't he? Yes, he did. But it wasn't just the one time. He actually made him look a clown twice, this time from the penalty spot. That was on 54 minutes, in what I must say is a little bit of a soft penalty, going in favour of Rovers, but not as soft as flipping Brentford's penalty. We'll talk more about that in a Jimmy Juju. So Ollie Watkins made a game on our hands with a belter, 62 minutes on the clock. You haven't checked the highlights out. That's one of the goals of the season right there, or at least goals of the month for sure. But yeah, so Ollie Watkins gave Brentford a bit of hope, make it 2-1, and then soft as you like, soft as cheese, soft as goat's cheese, whatever it is, Gorgonzola. It was upstep Ben Rama with the penalty after I think it was a substitute. What's his name? I can't remember what his name was. Doesn't look like any of those guys. Maybe Rasmussen, I think it might have got bundled over and upstepped Ben Rama, who was actually having a bit of a shit game, to be honest with you. He did not have his shooting boots on. He had many chances. Let's talk about those stats now for you. Brentford had 20 shots on the day. Rovers just the 11. Possession-wise, it went in favour of the host, 63% compared to our 37. They had actually better successes with their passing as well. 79% of all their passes reached their intended target. 66 for Rovers. They had more dribbles than us, but we won the aerial duels and also had more tackles on the ground. 7-1 was the scoreline in corners as Brentford, with their set-piece coach, trying to really cause us all kinds of problems. Let's take a look at the starting lineups now, shall we? It was like this. David Raya, of course, old Rovers goalkeeper, now plying his trade down in London with Brentford, who are in the thick of things for promotion still. Henry at left back, Pinnock, Janvier and Dalsgaard make up the back 4. Da Silva, Norgard and Macundes made up a 3-man midfield with the BMW, Ben Rama, Mbembo and Watkins leading the line in a 3-man, 3-pronged attack, should I say. Rovers, on the flip side, we went like this. Walton between sticks, Bell, Adebayo, Lenihan, Nyambe, Travis, Johnson, Buckley, Downing, Samuel and Armstrong up front. It was, I think it was all as you were. I think no changes to the Rovers lineup. But let's give you my match ratings for you. Walton was in commanding form. I'll give him a 9. Without him, we definitely would have went home with absolutely nothing. Bell didn't have one of his better performances. I'll give him a 5. Adrabaya with a 7, Lenham with a 7, and Ayabi with a 6. I thought the fullbacks were kind of getting outdone by Brentford's bossy forward play. Travis, again, commanding 7. Johnson with a 6. Not really his better performance. Buckley, yeah, it was a bit of an anomaly or a ghost for me in my eyes. Downing still delivering the bits and pieces, and he just goes forever defies me. I always expect him a shitty performance, but he's always delivering. Samuel was a bit of a ghost as well. Realistically, I think I'm giving him a bit generous with a 6, but he was hardly there. And Armstrong gets himself a big fat 8, courtesy of his 2 goals. Let's take a look at some more stats and figures for you. Here we go. Here's all those shots. The orange is Brentford. Some long range efforts as well. Some screamers. Rovers were a little bit fruitful with their shots. We had 11 shots on the day, 6 on target. As for Brentford, 29 on target as well. They had more touches, 650 compared to our 448. They had more passes, 446 to our 281. It was definitely a game for Rovers to kind of sit back and just kind of absorb what Brentford were throwing at us, because it was one of those games. First 15 minutes, besides that, in fact, first 20 minutes, it was all Brentford. We were not in this game whatsoever, despite taking the one and only chance that we had and putting it at the back of the net. I thought we were smashing and grabbing. There was many times I thought, even at 2-0 up, I thought, you know what, I'll take a point. And that's what, people are looking at this as maybe as an opportunity missed for Rovers, but definitely not. This is Brentford are one of those dangerous sides, and they're going to be competing for playoffs no matter what. They're in the playoff race, and realistically, they still have an outside shot for top 2. Obviously, Leeds and West Brom seem to have got their act together a little bit, especially West Brom. So it's going to be a tall order for Brentford to break into those top 2, but you know what, they've got the goals in them. They've got the defence. They've got a well organised ship going on here. I don't know their running. I don't know what games they've got left on the season, but they're definitely going to be in the mix. Let's take a look at the heat maps if you're a heat map man just like me. As you see, Rovers scarce today with possession, and definitely not a day for Nyambe or Amari Bell at those fullback spots. It was definitely Brentford piling on the pressure. We just took our chances. And that's what football's about, really. You could be soaking it up 90%, 10% possession going against you. You just take your chances when they come, and you might end up winning this game. Unfortunately, we couldn't hold on. 2 soft penalties in the end. I think when we got given our soft penalty, maybe there was a flea in the referee's ear to level it up a little bit when the Brentford man went down softly, to make it even Stevens. Again, I was watching, like the majority of us, with supposedly impartial commentators, but they were all praising Brentford. They were praising the referee prior to kick-off, saying he's a good referee. But you know what? I think he was absolutely shambolic once again. The EFL referees need to take a look at themselves a little bit harder over the close season, trying to get their shit sorted out, because week in, week out, we see sloppy decision making, really poor amateur officiating, and it kind of diminishes our league a little bit. If the officiating was just a little bit better, we could push this league to another level. You know what I mean? We could if we could borrow maybe the Premier League referees, or the same sort of standards, the VAR and all that. I know it's easy for me to say this sitting here. It's got nothing to do with it really, but you know what? It just kind of degrades the championship a little bit, the officiating. Anyway, that's just a little bit what I've had to say. What about the gaffer? What did he have to say shortly after the final whistle with his input on the match?
Well, we left frustrated and disappointed, I think, that we didn't take all the points from the position we were in. 2-0. Crowd beginning to turn a little bit on them. The ball going array in the wind, getting long balls, getting out of play, and there was a lack of rhythm to the game. And then I'd have to say a bit of brilliance from Watkins, that you would have to say there for goal. I was disappointed a long straight ball wasn't dealt with better, but he did finish it amazingly well. And then, as we found at this ground in the past, they can ignite the team, and the team play on the front foot, and they get lots of little passes around your box. I haven't been on my laptop and looked at the penalty, but everybody who has seen it says it's never a penalty, and there's very, very little contact, if any, and it's only an arm across the front of him and he's gone diving over. But maybe the ref was having a tough day today, I think, from both teams. I felt he got a lot wrong today. I know their bench was fuming, he got a lot wrong today. And And ultimately we're disappointed because at 2-2 even Armstrong goes through 1-1 with David Raya and should have maybe won the game for us 3-2. But it's okay. Would we have taken it, on the run of games we've had? And probably with 2 home games coming up, we'll take the point, we'll put it in the bag and we'll move on to the next one. Well, I think we've got the players who can do that. I think if you play Armstrong or Samuel or Brereton if he came off the bench or Gallagher, I think there's a threat for any team who pushes on too many men against us with space behind them to run into, and that's what happened. And as long as we can pick the forward passes from the midfield or the defenders and see the space and exploit it, then we're a threat to any team in the league. We've said that. It's the more difficult days are when teams sit really deep against us probably, and we have to be more creative. Like, they're pretty good at being creative around the edge of the box with Wermo and Ben Rama and them type of footballers. We are missing Holtby and we're missing Dak and we're missing Rothwell, them type of footballers. But at this moment on transition we can still be a threat with Armstrong and Gallagher, and that's how it panned today a little bit. No, we give it a lot of thought. I think Sam Gallagher gives, especially against Rico Henry, who's a big threat from them from left back, to maybe just stand him out there and hit a lot of diagonals onto him. As when we won 3-1 here a few years ago, we did that, and it was a consideration. And yet I think Buckley did exceptionally well last week, and he deserves to have a go. And yet he found that physically tough today as a young boy against a team really at it, and yet he played his part. He's fine. We know our thoughts on Buckley. He's a wonderful footballer. Some games when the physicality is required, it was a day to make that change, and Gallagher came on and played his part and give them a few problems. But okay, listen, we're a bit frustrated, and it's easy for me to stand here and moan about the referee giving them a chance to get back in the game. But they are a good football team. They do create chances. But frustration is both that they scored 2 from being us 2-0 up, and then the fact we didn't finish it off with Adam running through at 1-on-1 with the keeper. I didn't think many. I mean, one pretty late on, I think, but not many that I thought, that was a brilliant save. I think he made some saves that were straight at him a lot today, but his hands were very clean and sure, and I can't remember sitting there thinking, wow, we got away with that one, what a save.
Meanwhile, what else went on in the Championship? It was looking like an okay day for us as the 3 o'clock kickoffs came around, but ultimately it came up a little bit sticky with Preston picking up a win against Hull. It was going in our favour. We could have just still been within touching distance of the playoffs. They are a little bit further afield now, but we'll talk more about that in a second. Derby on Friday night did pick up a draw against Fulham. Wayne Rooney with his Panenka penalty giving Derby a share of the spoils. We also picked up a share of the spoils, of course, today in the game of the weekend, right at Griffin Park. West Brom continue to do their bit, and they did take care of business against Bristol City away. Swansea City, they're another side that are trying to get themselves back in the old playoff hunt. 3-1 comfortable win over Huddersfield. We've got to keep an eye on them as well, because we'll be taking on them next weekend. Wigan, massive result for us in the grand scheme of things, taking out Wigan as well, 1-0 for Wigan. Barnsley picking up a monstrous win for them down the bottom, 1-0 win to get themselves a little bit closer to safety. Birmingham 3, Sheffield Wednesday 3, goals galore. Scotty Hogan amongst it as well. Nottingham Forest couldn't take advantage of their home situation by only picking up a draw against QPR. I did mention already, Preston picking up a 2-1 win to Hull. Charlton again get themselves a bit of wiggle room down the bottom there. 3-1 win over Luton Town, who could be going down. Stoke City, again, they're our next opponents. 2-0 win over Cardiff. Just get the right results at the right time. And Leeds United, 1-0 win over Reading. Now, what's that done to the table? We'll take a little look at it, shall we? West Brom now, 4 points clear of second place Leeds. They're also 7 points clear over Fulham in third. Fulham are actually 5 points adrift of Leeds in second. Brentford 4th, Forest 5th, Preston are 6th. If we want to take a look at a Rovers point of view, I'll get to that in a second. Down the bottom is Luton, Barnsley, Wigan going down as it stands. It is tight. It is very, very tight. Rovers are now 5 points adrift of the playoffs. 2 back-to-back home games on the horizon for Rovers. Win those, get 6 points out of 6, and we could get ourselves back into the conversation once again. Because right now, I think we're one of the best of the rest, really. Bristol City are a win away from potentially getting back in the top 6, but it's going to be close. So it's definitely our best chance in the past 6-7 years of getting anywhere near the Premier League once again. But yeah, back-to-back wins, back-to-back home games for Rovers. If we can pick up 6 out of 6, then we're in it. We are taking on Stoke, who are down 19th next. Then it's Swansea, who are just breathing down our necks, and they'll be seeing the game against Rovers as a monstrous win for them. So let's take a look at that table down the bottom there. So Wigan are on 22nd points, 3 points away from the likes of Stoke in 19th, Middlesbrough in 20th, and Huddersfield are in 21st. All those, I think, 19 down right now. They've got to be maybe even 18th downwards, are still in the old relegation battle. Are Barnsley going to get themselves out of it? You just don't know yet. I think they need another couple good results going their way. Playoff race, yeah, like I said, Rovers still in it. I think Swansea is still in it. Cardiff will do themselves they did themselves a massive favour. So top 10 above, I think, are still in the playoff fronts, but it's going to get smaller and smaller as the days go by. This is the next round of fixtures coming at you out of the Championship. QPR gets Derby on Tuesday night. Derby looking to try and sneak in their lastminute.com. Brentford go away to Luton. That ain't going to be easy. Huddersfield against Bristol City again. Huddersfield clambering for points. Bristol City need a win if they're gonna get back into the playoff spots themselves. Cardiff against Notts Forest. That ain't easy as well for Forest. So I could see them slipping up. West Brom against Preston again. Preston are in their situation right now in the 6th spot, but I could see them losing that game. And Rovers against Stoke. Win that, we're right back in it. Barnsley need a win against Hull. Sheffield Wednesday, Charlton. That's kind of mid-table obscurity at the minute. Millwall need a win against Birmingham if they want to get back into it, and Swansea also need to get a result against Fulham, which could take points off of those as well. Leeds running away with it, but will they do enough against Middlesbrough? And Reading against Wigan seems to be a dead rubber, but I think Wigan need the points more. Obviously they're in the drop zone as it stands, so as you can see, week in, week out, situation is changing in the Championship as you look at the table. Let's take a look at what the fans, players and all that kind of good stuff were saying on social media. Amadi Bell said, a point in the bag from a difficult game, another step in the right direction. Dominic Samuel says, good point away from home today, difficult game, but we stuck with it, onwards and upwards. Good point against a good side. This is Nyambe taking the positives from it and focus on Wednesday. That's right, and the main man, Adam Armstrong, with the 2 goals. Another point in the right direction. Happy to grab 2 goals. We take the positives and move on to another big game Wednesday. And El Skipper, he might not start the game, but he got some minutes. Elliot Bennett, good point at a tough place today. Hopefully turn today's point into an extremely positive one with back-to-back home games. Adam Armstrong, you filthy man. Shout out to Waltz with assist and saves. Meanwhile, some of the fans, California Rover, proud of the lads today. Make no mistake, Rovers are in the mix for the top 6 with 12 games to go. Opportunity over the next 6 games for wins ahead. A tricky April. Leeds and Baggies at home, Cardiff and Millwall away. Come on Rovers, happy anniversary Gaffer. Mowbray celebrating 3 years in the job today. Paul Willock said this was a great game of football and a good point for Rovers. No reason why they can't finish top 6 playing like that. Brentford impressive as they have been for years without going up. Liam, aka Yates Sharple, says however you look at it, that was a very good point in my opinion. 2-0 to 2-2, but that they could have won it and we could have won it. This really shows that we can compete to go up. Jimmy Jangle 61 said I'd have taken a point all day long versus Brentford, especially with the attacking threat they have. We weren't at our best again today, especially with the passing on and off the ball, but discipline was good. The plus side is we didn't get beat 5-2 this season. Onwards to Stoke and NYC Rovers over on this side of the pond. We are much more difficult side to prepare for without Dak. Everybody knew the game was going to be tough, though. It was going to go through him. It's going to be fun to see how we hopefully transition into a more versatile team after he returns. That's still a long, long way away. Northern Rover says this. All season I felt that we will end up around 8th to 10th. For the first time, I've now started to genuinely believe we can sneak into the top 6. Amazingly, given we have lost our best player for the rest of the season. Players just look like they believe and I'll dig in deep. Couple more here. Marcus RTID, the Swedish Rover. Bedford by far the better team in this game. Would have taken a point before the game, but disappointed right now. Fighting defensively until the end. Horrific refereeing as usual. We did touch on that earlier. Matt Stilto said it's a fantastic spectacle for the Championship. Ruined by a dive. Brentford a very good side. The Rovers team are made of strong stuff. Proud of them today. We take the point and move into 2 home games where we need the 6 points. And Stuart Grimshaw said this. I thought we matched them as well as they did in possession. We defended just as well. It took a worldie and a dive from them to equalise. I think we execute a well thought out game plan today. That, my friends, is where I'm going to leave you. Rovers picking up a massive point in the end. Definitely would have grabbed that if you'd offered me at the start of the match. No questions. Yeah, of course, it does suck a little bit going 2-0 up. But realistically, the threat was always there. We got the 2 goals. But before all that, it was all Brentford. And it was going to take... I knew as the 1 goal went in, Ollie Watkins, I thought, you know what? We're going to lose this game. We're going to lose it. So, even at 2-0, obviously, definitely, I was optimistic for a win. But I always knew in the back of my mind there was the threat there. 2-1, I was hoping for a draw. And that was it. I was content with it. Stoke next, ain't going to be easy, but if we do manage to pick up a win there and then lead on to Swansea after that and get two wins on the bounce back at Ewood Park, you know what? We'll be right back in this top 6 discussion. We might have kind of drifted out of it, and that's another thing that kind of irks me. It irks me a little bit, but the Sky coverage and all that, all talking about Brentford, praising them, and when it did come to the point of talking about Rovers, they kind of just fluffed around it a little bit. They've obviously not been watching Rovers play. They've not been watching. They kind of just fumbled around. Oh yes, Lewis Travis, blah blah blah. They just didn't know what to say about Rovers. Obviously, Brentford grabbing the headlines with the goals and all that, and I like that. To a point that let's not talk about Rovers. Let us be that team that comes out of nowhere and sneaks into the top 6 and gives them a bit of a shock right at the death. So I'm optimistic that we can still do well. It's just a very big week. 2 massive home games, get 6 points on back-to-back wins, and then we'll be right back in the conversation. And then, you know what, people will start to think that we're actually in this hunt. But right now, I still think a lot of the third parties, the outsiders, think that Rovers are just they're just making up the numbers at this stand. But anyway, we go again. Match preview tomorrow with Stoke, or maybe Monday. We'll see. Championship predictions as well. If you want to become, be sure to give this video some love and smash the thumbs up. And if you are new, make sure you smash the subscribe. Check out the description. Links to my other social media platforms in there: Twitter, Facebook, and of course Patreon, boys and girls. I'm trying to get up to 10 patrons, up to 8 right now. So 2 spots available. Well, there's more than 2, but I'm trying to push on for 10. I also try to push on to 1,000 followers on Twitter. I thought today was going to be the day, but no, I only gained a couple. But anyway, I'm being greedy. I'll see you all very, very soon. Until then, bang the thumbs up, bang the subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thanks again for watching. Please like, share, and most importantly, hit the subscribe button to keep you bang up to date with all things Blackburn Rovers related, Championship related, football related. We've got it all covered right under one roof. And while I still have you, please be sure to check out some of the old videos scattered along here. I hope.